The helicopter blades chopped through the sky, rattling the air like a storm that no one saw coming. And when the doors opened, out stepped Naomi Carter, her emerald dress catching the fading sun, her arm linked with Daniel Pierce, the millionaire philanthropist whose name everybody in the city knew. The wedding guests froze champagne flutes halfway to their lips, eyes wide, as if they'd just seen a ghost. At the altar, the groom's smile faltered. His bride's bouquet trembled. And Naomi, steady as stone, whispered the words that silenced the garden. "May your happiness last just one day." Now let me tell you how we got here, because this wasn't just about a ruined wedding. It was about a woman the world underestimated, a man who betrayed her, and a truth so raw that once spoken, it couldn't be taken back. Naomi grew up in a small neighborhood on the east side of Baltimore, raised on grit and Sunday prayers. She married young against the odds, her a black woman chasing steady paychecks at a bakery, and Michael, a white man with smooth talk and restless eyes. For a while they laughed through the broken furniture, shared dreams over instant noodles, and promised each other that better days were just around the corner. But somewhere along the way, Michael stopped laughing. He'd come home late, shoulders tense, jaw set, looking around their cramped apartment like it was a prison cell. Naomi tried to keep hope alive, braiding her hair in the morning, sliding her feet into worn sneakers, heading off to the bakery where the smell of yeast and sugar was the only sweetness she had left. She'd bring home rice-stretched stew, thin smile through the hunger. But one night, as she set the table, Michael dropped his jacket on the couch, glared at the bowls in front of him, and spat the words that cut sharper than any blade. "Rice again. God, Naomi, why do we have to live like this?" Her chest tightened, but she forced her voice steady. "Because it's what we can afford, Michael. Friday's payday. We'll do better then." But he wasn't listening. He slammed his fist against the table, rattling the chipped plates. "I'm tired of scraping by, tired of watching you wear the same two dresses, tired of this life." Naomi's eyes burned, but she met his glare. "We have each other, that was supposed to be enough." Michael looked away, his voice flat, final. "I don't want this life anymore. I want out." By morning, his side of the bed was cold. On the kitchen table, he left nothing but a ring and a note that read, "I'm sorry. Don't contact me." The walls closed in on Naomi that day. The apartment felt hollow, her chest even more so. She stumbled to the bakery, poured herself into the dough, let her tears mix with flour until her friend Clara pulled her aside and said, "Girl, you're carrying the world on your shoulders. Don't let him break you." And Naomi, God bless her, she didn't. Weeks blurred until one evening a man walked into the bakery. Tall, refined, with eyes that saw past her tired smile. Daniel Pierce. He bought a loaf of rye, then came back the next day and the next. And slowly Naomi found herself looking forward to those moments. His easy questions about her recipes, the way he listened, not like a man waiting to speak, but like someone who believed her words mattered. Over coffee one night, he told her, "You've got fire, Naomi. This place runs because of you." And for the first time in forever, she felt seen. But then came the envelope. Heavy cardstock gold lettering. Michael's name etched beside Abigail Lawson, a real estate heiress with old money dripping from her family's name. And the audacity of it, an invitation for Naomi to attend their wedding. Her hands shook as she showed Daniel. "He left me with nothing, and now he wants me to sit in a pew and smile while he marries into fortune." Daniel's jaw tightened. "You don't owe him anything." But Naomi lifted her chin, her eyes blazing with something he hadn't seen before. "No, but I owe myself the truth. I need to see it with my own eyes." So when the day came, Daniel booked the helicopter. He said if Naomi was going to walk into that lion's den, she was going to do it like a queen. The estate looked like something out of a magazine, white columns, roses spilling from golden vases, chandeliers glowing through the windows. Guests whispered as Naomi stepped onto the grass, Daniel steady at her side. "Is that her? The ex-wife? Who's he with a helicopter at the altar?" Michael froze, his smile breaking, while Abigail clutched her bouquet tighter, her father, Charles Lawson, watching from the front row with eyes sharp as knives. They tried to seat Naomi at the back, far from the family, but Daniel leaned in and whispered, "You're not here for them. You're here for you." The ceremony rolled on, Abigail radiant, Michael stiff, the guests rising to snap photos. But Naomi's gaze never wavered. She watched the man she once loved slip vows onto another woman's finger. And then, at the reception, Michael grabbed the microphone. "When I met Abigail," he declared, voice full of false confidence, "I was at a crossroads. I was failing, but she believed in me when no one else did." The applause rang hollow in Naomi's chest. She dug her nails into her palms to stop herself from breaking. Daniel leaned close, his voice low. "He's rewriting history, Naomi. Don't let him." And then, like lightning, the room shifted. Charles Lawson rose his presence, commanding his voice, cutting through the music. "Before we celebrate, there's a matter of integrity I must address. My daughter believed she was marrying a man of honor, but I've learned otherwise." The guests fell silent. Michael paled. Charles's gaze swept the hall before settling squarely on him. Michael was married before to Naomi Carter. She worked 2 jobs to keep him afloat while he abandoned her and blamed her for his failures. Gasps filled the air. Heads whipped toward Naomi. She sat tall, her emerald dress glowing under the chandeliers, her chin high, though her heart pounded. Michael stammered, It wasn't like that. We weren't right for each other." But Abigail turned to him, tears brimming. "Is it true?" He reached for her voice, cracking. "I just wanted a better life." Abigail recoiled. "You had a better life with her, and you threw it away." The crowd's whispers swelled pity, turning to contempt. Charles raised a hand, silencing his future son-in-law. "Enough. A man who betrays loyalty is not welcome in my family." Michael stood frozen, stripped of charm, of pretense, of everything he'd schemed for. And Naomi, oh, Naomi rose from her chair, her voice steady but sharp enough to slice the air. "I was your partner, Michael, not your burden. I poured every ounce of myself into us, and you turned me into the villain so you could chase money. But the truth always catches up." The room erupted, admiration flashing in eyes that once looked down on her. Abigail crossed the floor, tears streaking her face. "I believed him. I thought you were the reason he struggled. I'm so sorry." Naomi's eyes softened, not with forgiveness, but with understanding. "He told me the same lies. Don't blame yourself." Daniel took her hand, then pride burning in his eyes. And in that moment, Naomi wasn't just the ex-wife. She was the storm that toppled Michael's house of cards. Weeks later, Charles Lawson walked into Naomi's bakery with Abigail by his side. He said, "I've built empires, but what I see in you is rarer than gold grit. I'd like to invest in your bakery not as charity, but as a partnership." Naomi hesitated, then nodded. "I'll accept, but I'll earn it. I'll prove what I can do." And she did. The bakery blossomed, ovens, upgraded shelves brimming with pastries that drew crowds from across the city. Naomi's name was no longer tied to Michael's betrayal, but to resilience. Daniel stayed by her side, their love built on trust, not need. Even Abigail became a friend, the 2 women sharing coffee and laughter in a shop that had once smelled only of survival. One evening, under the glow of city lights, Daniel took Naomi's hand and whispered, "Marry me. Let's build something real." And she said yes. But here's the part that stirs debate. Months later, Michael reached out. Thinner, hollow-eyed, stripped of everything, he asked Naomi to meet him in a park where they used to sit. His voice cracked as he said, "I ruined everything. I'm sorry." Naomi looked at him, not with anger, but with pity. "I forgive you for my peace, not yours. But forgiveness isn't the same as coming back." She stood, leaving him in the shadows while she walked toward a future he'd never be part of. And maybe that's the lesson. Some people only see your worth when it's too late. Some only love what you can give, not who you are. But Naomi proved something bigger, that dignity once reclaimed shines brighter than betrayal ever could. So what do you think? Should she have forgiven Michael at all, or was walking away the only justice? Have you ever seen someone rewrite the past to cover their failures? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your stories. And don't forget to subscribe, because these aren't just tales, they're reflections of the battles we fight every day.